York, I'm Veronica Cornstone.
And I'm Ron Burgundy. Here's what's happening in your world.
We're here today to talk about the Battle of Gettysburg because today, President Lincoln is there addressing the public in honor of those soldiers who fought and lost their lives in the Battle of Gettysburg.
Yes, we're all very excited to see President Lincoln speak live.
The Battle of Gettysburg was fought roughly 5 months ago on July 1st through July 3rd. This has been the turning point for our war, as well as the largest battle of the Civil War.
Yes, it was a big one. It's crazy out there.
Around 85,000 men of the Union's Army of the Potomac under Major General George Gordon Meade and approximately 75,000 in the Confederacy Army of the Northern Virginia, commanded by General Robert Edward Lee, were involved. Casualties at Gettysburg totaled about 23,000 for the Union, and the Confederate casualties were about 28,000.
Yeah, we lost a lot of good men out there.
They really did.
It really hit us hard. But now live to Lincoln at Gettysburg.
7 years ago, our fathers brought forth on this continent a new nation, conceived in liberty and dedicated to the proposition that all men are created equal. Now we are engaged in a great civil war, testing whether that nation or any nation so conceived and so dedicated can long endure. We are met on a great battlefield of that war. We have come to dedicate a portion of that field, a final resting place, for those who here gave their lives that the nation might live. It is altogether fitting and proper that we should do this. But in a large sense, we cannot dedicate, we cannot consecrate, we cannot hallow this ground. The brave men, living and dead, who struggled here, have consecrated it, far above our poor power to add or detract. The world will little know, nor long remember what we say here, but it can never forget what they did here. It is for us, the living, rather to dedicate here to the unfinished work which they fought here have thus far so nobly advanced. It is rather for us to be here to dedicate to the great task remaining before us, that from this honored dead we take increased devotion to the cause for which they gave the last full measure of devotion, that we here highly resolve that these dead shall not have died in vain, that this nation under God shall have a new birth of freedom, and the government of the people, by the people, for the people, shall not perish from the earth.
Wow, that was a much shorter speech than any of us expected, but still he delivered such a great emotional punch. That was truly amazing, President Lincoln. All right, New York, back to you.
All right, now a few words from our sponsors.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're really great.
Lincoln, and I'm the best for the United States because I'm fighting to keep the country together and I'm doing what's best for the United States.
President Lincoln's aim for the war is simply to preserve the Union. The Emancipation Proclamation that was put into effect in January needs support. We need everybody behind this, otherwise it is for no use.
Support by signing up for the war. I'm Abraham Lincoln, and I approve this message.
Breaking news. Joseph O'Connor has finally been charged with the crimes that were committed during the anti-draft riots here in New York. He, among many Irishmen, began lynching the freed blacks in protest to the Emancipation Proclamation. Wow, those riots were really crazy out there.
I know, there sure are something.
I know. Saw some familiar faces out in those riots.
Yeah, I think I saw a couple too.
Yeah. Well, riots were the violent disturbances in New York City that were the culmination of working class discontent with new laws passed by Congress this year to draft men to fight this war. But President Lincoln diverted several regiments of militia and volunteer troops from following up after the Battle of Gettysburg to control the city. The rioters were overwhelmingly working class men, primarily Irish, and particularly that wealthier men could afford to pay the $300 to not be drafted into the war. Initially intended to express anger at the draft, the protests turned to a race riot, with many white rioters, mainly but not exclusively Irish immigrants, attacking blacks wherever they could find them. Estimates indicate that at least 119 blacks were killed. The conditions in the city were such that Major General John E. Wool, commander of the Department of the East, said on July 16th that martial law ought to be proclaimed, but I have not a sufficient force to enforce it. The military did not reach the city until after the first day of rioting, when mobs had already ransacked or destroyed numerous public buildings, 2 Protestant churches, the homes of various abolitionists or synthesizers, and many black homes.
We have the unique opportunity to meet with General Meade, who was the general at Gettysburg, to give us some answers. Now to our reporter in the field, Betsy Johnson, to get the information.
Thank you for joining us today, General Meade. So, can you tell us about your experience in the Battle of Gettysburg?
Well, it was difficult. I witnessed many of my brigade die in front of me. Good men, too. I was elated after the battle was over. No, they had not died in vain.
I'm sorry for your loss. I hear that your relationship with President Lincoln is strained due to some couple of recent events. Care to elaborate?
Yes, we had a falling out for the fact that, besides the long days of battle, I failed to capture General Lee's army.
Interesting. I'm sure the viewers will love that. So tell us, how do you feel about your role in the war?
I feel rather decent, also quite livid though, for the war could have ended soon if it wasn't for my fault. Because if I had captured that army, then we would not ever have to go to battle again with them, saving many lives possibly.
I'm sure you did your best, but
Yes.
thank you. Well, congratulations on winning the war anyway.
Yes.
So back to the topic I was most interested in. Can you talk a little bit more on what's going down with you and Lincoln and how your relationship is right now?
I would say we're on quite good terms right now with one another. However, I feel my recent blunder may have miffed him quite a bit. And he's rather upset about the ending of Gettysburg, how it resulted. Could have been better.
Do you view this as fair because you won the war anyway?
I'm not sure. No, I don't believe so.
Interesting. All right, New York, back to you.
Thanks, Betsy. Well, viewers, you're in luck today. We have a special feature story today about the Emancipation Proclamation. President Abraham Lincoln issued the Emancipation Proclamation on January 1st, 1863, which declared all slaves in the rebellious states were to be then and henceforth free, assuming there was a military win there. The Emancipation Proclamation, however, did not end slavery everywhere. It just ended slavery in the Confederate States. The proclamation accepted black soldiers and sailors into the Union. Approximately 200,000 joined the Union and fought for their own liberty. The proclamation was used as an incentive for or a catalyst for the newly joined freed slaves of the Union to fight the Confederacy. That's all the news we have today, and I'm Ron Burgundy. You stay classy, New York.